Good afternoon, everyone. My name is April, and today I will be talking to you about my personal framework of learning. My personal framework of learning is to ensure students are actively engaged through being challenged and are learning through experience. In turn, this will provide students to become successful thinkers and learners. The overall purpose of my educational framework is to help develop students' ways of learning and thinking through a positive, relaxed, and simplified environment. Learners are constantly minds-on through day-to-day tasks from as little as brushing their teeth at home to completing tasks within class. Therefore, why not take advantage of this ongoing thought process and turn it into education? Every single day, we are able to learn and develop skills by doing simple hands-on activities. With these skills, learners will be able to take this throughout life in everything they do. Rogers states his ideas of characteristics of a fully functioning person, which highlights a key aspect from my personal framework. As a person, we are always looking for new challenges and experiences. There are three key expert theorists whom support my thoughts and ideas within my personal framework. These theorists include Russian psychologist Lev Vygotsky, Italian physician and educator Mario Montessori, and American educational theorist David Kolb. These theorists have slightly different points of view in terms of how students learn best, although each correlate in one way or another to produce the same understanding of teaching and learning that provides students with the chance of excelling in this aspect. Lev Vygotsky's theory consists of the idea that child development is the result of interaction between children and their social environment. As he stated, children are active partners in all of these interactions, constructing knowledge, skills, and attitudes, not just mirroring the world around them. This theory of Vygotsky relates to my framework as students engage and excel in their learning through interacting with their peers, through experience, and within their social environment. Mario Montessori's educational approach was developed with an emphasis on independence, freedom within limits, and respect for a child's natural, psychological, physical, and social development. She believed that students could learn concepts from working with materials rather than by direct instruction. This educational approach of Montessori's relates to my framework of learning through experience, as students are natural learners, and when they are left alone or with one another, they will constantly explore. Learners are able to engage in their learning as they are happy through being busily involved in processes of exploring. David Kolb's experiential learning theory underlines the meaning that experience is a source of learning and developing. This experiential learning theory relates to my framework of learning through experience, as it allows students to experiment, which creates new experiences. It also applies to all learners and allows students to move through experience, which leads to observations and reflections on the experience. Learning is one of the most important areas in which a person can excel in life, although it is one aspect in life that cannot be controlled nor understood, as there are various opinions and thoughts based on how learning is achieved. Yet, there is not just one distinct definition. It is assumed that students learn everything at school, although this is not correct. As stated by the Gale Group, most people's learning occurs outside of school. It is with my personal framework that I believe learning is ongoing and consists during every aspect of everyday life, and that students learn best when they are actively engaged through being challenged and are learning through experience, whether this be with one another, through environmental aspects, or simply using objects. In relation to understanding the contemporary learning theory, there are three main types of pedagogical theorists that link with this aspect and describe how information is absorbed, process, and retain during learning. These theories involve the behaviourist theory, the cognitive theory, and the constructivist theory. The behaviourist view is the change in behaviour that occurs as a result of experience. The cognitive view is the change in a person's mental structure that creates the capacity to demonstrate different behaviours. The constructivist view involves learning by active creation of knowledge, which structures from personal experience. Each of these theories had varied definitions of what learning is, although each correlate in proving that learning changes, behaviours vary, and that the environment and experiences have huge impacts on learning. This forms into the students creating knowledge, which shows great emphasis on my pedagogical framework of learning. Constructivism is best suited to my pedagogical framework in saying that constructivism emphasises the importance of the active involvement of learners in constructing knowledge for themselves. This relates to students being engaged as they are processing activities on their own terms, as well as building new ideas or concepts based upon current knowledge and past experiences. This relates to learning through experience. Through using the social constructivist approach, which is influenced by previously talked about theorist Vygotsky, this defines my overall framework in saying that the process of collaboration results in learners constructing understanding together that would not be possible alone. It is important that all students are actively engaged in their work through being challenged, as well as learning through experience. It is up to the teacher to use a variety of teaching strategies which will allow learners to achieve these outcomes. For students to be actively engaged in all classroom activities, some strategies that can help achieve this are simply any interactive activity, whether this is through collaboration, creating, listening, problem solving, reasoning, decision making, or even using technology. Experimental learning can be achieved through reflection and by doing. An example of this is organising for a class to visit a certain attraction and be able to learn through observation and interaction with the objects and the environment there. This appeals more than to just be learning about this same attraction through a book form or the teacher regurgitating information. Not all students learn best this way, although majority do. The one student that I have viewed that does not appreciate learning in this atmosphere was due to a disability and simply only wanting to be an independent learner. Although this will always occur within a classroom, it is important that educators are able to adjust and create learning environments that fit the needs of all students. This simple limitation towards my framework is not the framework itself, but how it is operated within a classroom environment. Therefore, it is important to make sure that the engaging activities which are constructed suit the needs of all students. My overall emphasis on teaching and learning as a pre-service teacher involves the idea that all students need to feel they are able to learn in a supportive classroom environment. Through the use of recognition of difference and intellectual quality, this can be achieved. My framework was a clear one to construct, as it was noticed whilst on professional experience that young students seem to learn best by doing. When looking at the four broad areas of learning styles, which include visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and tactile, it is apparent that my framework fits into each of these learning styles. Visual learners can be exposed to viewing through activities and can learn and remember based on what they have seen. Auditory learners are able to work well amongst groups as they are able to remember off hearing, therefore can learn based on listening to peers. Kinesthetic and tactile learners are able to work best by using their hands and by doing and experimenting, which is what my framework is all about. Therefore, to be able to find a framework that I believe strongly in and that covers a wide range of students within a class is always the step in the right direction of becoming an effective teacher.